Well, this is big news, and I think this is just the start of layoffs coming to the tabletop industry. I've been reporting on the dismal state of Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons & Dragons in recent weeks, and now they are removing their project Sigil. This is their virtual tabletop project, and it looks like they're going to be shutting it down. First was reported by Diversity and Dragons, a great channel. We're going to get into this news in just a moment as it's been confirmed by one of the developers who posted about it this morning. Very sad stuff. So please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in tabletop gaming, especially fantasy, my friends. And I have something for you. If you are a classic fantasy fan, which I know you are if you're a big D&D fan, I just wrote an epic sword and sorcery book, which is coming out yesterday. And we just had a great pre-order launch. This was the biggest pre-order I've ever had, quite the opposite of how Hasbro is going. And it's because I'm leading into what makes fantasy great. It's got a strong male lead. He's a reluctant protagonist who has to fight against this great evil that's awakening underground. He goes questing, and you're going to love this. If you like classic D&D adventures, if you like the classic Forgotten Realms books or Dragonlance, I really think you're going to enjoy this. Check it out. It's in the description below, my friends. Support our channel. It's only $4.99. Start reading this weekend. And yes, thank you so much, guys, for making this a success and grabbing this today. And read. Reading is where it's at, and I appreciate everybody who's a reader. Like I said, that's in the description below for you. So, more bad signs are coming from Wizards of the Coast as we've learned that Dungeons & Dragons has cut Project Sigil virtual tabletop gaming program, laying off 30 of its developers. Virtual tabletop gaming has been growing for some time. If you didn't know, it was first popularized by the website app Roll20, which I've used for a lot of games myself. And Wizards of the Coast decided they wanted to get in on that sweet, sweet digital content by making their own VTT system where they could control it and sell their own digital content. In fact, that's a lot of the problem with 2024's editions of Dungeons & Dragons. The reason they streamlined the game, the reason they gutted a lot of things, was to make it easy just to port this into an online system so they could sell digital content, they could just sell different things. Give you some DLC stuff to keep you going and coming back for more, and that way they could build a model that they were going to hope was going to make a lot more money than just the books themselves. The problem is, like, the tabletop community, for the most part, does like having just books and tables and getting together with friends. That's the most of it. We use the virtual tabletop when we have to. But otherwise, like, it's not the main sort of focus of things. So with D&D doing very, very poorly, and it did. If you didn't see my article a couple weeks ago, it didn't even hit top 50 on the USA Today charts, this new edition. Not very good. When Tasha's Cauldron of Everything from the prior edition, from edition 5, actually was number 5 back in 2020. And so you see, like, core books always, by the way, invariably outsell later supplements. The later supplements usually are dying off, and this is the thing about RPGs. If you are invested in a game, buy those later supplements and keep them because they have smaller print runs almost always, and then they end up being rare, and then people end up wanting them later, and then they end up fetching a premium. And so that's always what happens with every single RPG. Now, when they do these new editions, they always outsell those, and that's why they do new editions. That's the entire point of doing this. So don't let anyone at Dungeons & Dragons or anything try to spin that this is somehow a success. This is what modern gamers wanted, that it's going well. It's not. It's going terribly for them. And on top of that, when they launched this, I actually dove into Hasbro's financial reports. Their tabletop gaming was not doing well. It was not moving the needle. It was actually down in sales quite a bit. The only thing that was holding it up and propping it up was digital licensing, which means other companies would license D&D for like a video game or Magic for like a video game. Otherwise, Wizards of the Coast was down by itself. And so those are bad signs. When you're coming out with a new core set, you should have your best quarter ever, right? It should be excellent if it's going well. It's just not going well. And that then trickles into the rest of the company. So if they're going to develop a virtual tabletop system and get this going, and this is a lot of work, a lot involved with it, at that point, they have to have a base to play it. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. So they see the writing on the wall. They see how much this has cost, laying off 30 people in like Seattle area or whatever. These guys probably all make $100K a year. So that's going to be about, $3 million, right? $3 million a year that they're saving from Hasbro, which they need to because the Hasbro financials are down, right? And so this is the moves that need to be made at this point. So Diversity and Dragons broke this news yesterday. He actually did a video from his car. just talking about it, saying he has an insider at Wizards of the Coast trying to get this up quickly, saying that it is this whole system's dead, that it's going to be shut down, and that they are just leaving a skeleton crew left with the company, basically to just kind of, wrap things up and shut it down with dignity. And so interesting stuff on that point. It was confirmed today because senior designer and writer and team lead Andy Collins posted about the situation. He said, today, approximately 30 talented developers, 90% of the team, were laid off from Sigil, the virtual tabletop team at Wizards of the Coast, including yours truly. I'm disappointed that we didn't get to continue working toward the full experience that we imagined, but happy for the opportunity to work on an intriguing challenge with so many smart and dedicated folks. I wish my former colleagues success in their future endeavors. I'll also be pulling for the crew left behind to do their best to keep improving and iterating the experience we shipped last month. If you're interested in talking with me about opportunities in game design, narrative writing, or team leadership, please reach out. Be kind to yourself if you can. Be kind to someone else today, too. So poor guy lost his job after all of this because of the state of Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast going on right now. Now, just culturally, I really see a big shutdown on the D&D level. They're getting a lot of trouble with this new edition. Like I said, people are not buying it. People are not coming in on it. And it's because of the way that they treated Dungeons & Dragons. You have this new edition, which is really not all that different in its core mechanics from 5. So you're trying to distill it more for this virtual tabletop, for porting, for making online experiences out of it. And it just doesn't resonate well with tabletop players, obviously. And they got everything. They got all the cool fantasy elements out of it to try to make it into this like distilled, political correct, woke sort of deal. You know exactly what's going to happen at that point. If you missed the controversy last year for whatever reason, I don't know who did, but they've removed orcs as a villain. As a monster. It's not in the monster manual. You can't play as a half orc or half elf at this point because half is racist. I don't even understand how that works, but okay. They put an image in there of orcs as Mexicans, like to show that they're people too. It was very cringy. And they did a bunch more. They put a bunch of gender ideology into the book, and they also wrote a history of D&D where they actually attacked the founder Gary Gygax, called him a misogynist, said he was promoting slavery. I mean, ridiculous stuff. All because they wanted to push the woke mind virus even further. And this is where Dungeons & Dragons has been at for a long time. This is the entire tabletop industry, and they're all hurting. It's not just them. Pathfinder's hurting. White Wolf is hurting. They changed their name from something else because white's literally triggering. Isn't it like Black Onyx now? I don't know. They're all like really sinking on the vine because they've all pushed into this. Every single one of these core books. I covered last year also that Call of Cthulhu book even has like this like weird gay segment to it. And it's like, what are you doing? Eldritch horror beings and monsters are coming to eat you. We better have some gay sex first, right? It's like it's very, very weird stuff that's coming out of this stuff. And it's all because they've run all the normal people out of the business. And very sadly about this whole situation right here is what Diversity in Dragon says. There's a lot of normal people on this team. This is not the team that's doing the type of content like the fluff content that's causing problems for this stuff. These are just developers who are writing code and things like that, who he said there's a lot of good people on this team. So they're suffering because of this situation. It's really, really sad to watch. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for being here, my friends. If you want classic fantasy, this is man versus evil, building epic in a fun story. Grab this story today, The Demon's Eye. You're going to love this if you're a D&D fan. Thank you so much for making this a success. Grab the Kindle version for only $4.99 in the description below, and I appreciate you guys for reading.